Modern security operation centers are drowning. Analysts face thousands of security alerts every single day, and manually investigating every suspicious login or email is a mathematical impossibility. To manage this data, organizations deploy a SIEM, a Security Information and Event Management System. You can think of the SIEM as a highly sensitive fire alarm. It collects logs across your entire network and alerts you when it smells smoke. But an alarm doesn't put out the fire. That requires a SOAR, Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response. The SOAR is the automated fire truck that reads the alarm, dispatches the response, isolates the infected machine, and actually extinguishes the threat without waiting for a human analyst. In the current enterprise landscape, two automation platforms dominate the conversation: Microsoft Sentinel and Splunk SOAR. Deciding between them requires looking past the feature lists. These two platforms represent entirely different approaches to building and managing a security architecture. Buying cybersecurity tools based strictly on marketing materials often leaves organizations paying for expensive, highly complex software that their current engineering teams lack the specialized skills to actually operate. To avoid shelfware, you have to match the tool to your exact operational reality, your existing infrastructure, your specific budget constraints, and the technical capabilities of your analysts. Microsoft Sentinel operates as a 100% cloud-native solution hosted exclusively within the Azure ecosystem. Because Microsoft hosts the entire platform, your team manages zero underlying infrastructure. You bypass server provisioning entirely and can deploy the solution across your organization in a matter of hours. The cost of this convenience is vendor lock-in. Your security operations are entirely tethered to the Microsoft Azure environment. Splunk SOAR approaches deployment differently. It offers flexible architecture options, allowing organizations to run the platform on-premise, in a private cloud, or in a hybrid configuration. This flexibility allows organizations with strict data sovereignty or compliance rules to keep their security logs completely in-house. However, it forces your internal IT team to dedicate constant hours to server maintenance, patches, and version upgrades. The starkest difference between the two appears when you actually start building automation workflows. Microsoft Sentinel relies on Azure Logic Apps to build its playbooks. Sentinel uses a visual drag-and-drop interface. A junior analyst can map out a response in an afternoon. Splunk SOAR, conversely, runs on Python. Sentinel's visual builder eventually hits a rigid wall. Splunk's Python foundation provides limitless logic, allowing custom workarounds for any environment. But that power creates a high barrier to entry. To effectively use Splunk SOAR, you cannot rely on standard Tier 1 security analysts. You must hire dedicated, expensive software engineers to write and maintain your playbooks. If your organization cannot afford the specialized talent required to write advanced Python scripts, Splunk's deep automation capabilities will remain inaccessible to your team. The platform you choose also dictates how easily you can connect your existing security tools. Microsoft Sentinel is designed to work immediately with the broader Microsoft stack out of the box. If you use Microsoft Defender, Azure Active Directory, and Office 365, Sentinel ingests those logs natively and enriches alerts with zero custom configuration. The friction occurs when you leave that ecosystem. Connecting Sentinel to legacy hardware or niche third-party security tools requires navigating a much shallower integration library, often forcing you to build manual API connections. Splunk SOAR easily answers this specific problem with a massive, mature integration library containing over 350 custom applications. It is built specifically to orchestrate actions across highly fragmented, multi-vendor environments. It communicates fluidly with Palo Alto firewalls, CrowdStrike endpoints, and AWS infrastructure simultaneously. The operational tax for managing that diverse environment is vigilance. Third-party vendors frequently update their software, meaning your engineering team must continually monitor and repair those disparate API connections to prevent automated playbooks from breaking. Look at this line graph tracking platform costs over time. Microsoft Sentinel uses a consumption-based pricing model, meaning you pay per gigabyte of ingested data. The cost starts out incredibly low, making it cheap to deploy. But an unpredictable surge in logs, like those generated during a major cyber attack, can cause consumption costs to violently spike, ruining your IT budget. Splunk SOAR uses an enterprise licensing model. It requires a massive upfront financial commitment, but the cost remains flat and perfectly predictable regardless of log volume surges. This creates a clear financial divide. Splunk requires a heavy initial investment, but guarantees highly predictable scaling costs as your organization grows. Lean teams with predictable baseline traffic benefit from Sentinel's low starting price, while massive enterprises managing complex tech debt rely on Splunk to keep long-term costs stable. To see how these differences play out, consider a standard operational baseline. A malicious phishing email breaches the network perimeter and triggers a security alert. In a Microsoft Sentinel environment, the workflow is highly linear. Sentinel receives the Microsoft Defender alert, immediately disables the compromised Azure Active Directory account, and automatically creates a ticket in ServiceNow for the IT team. This entire response happens instantly, utilizing native integrations, and requires virtually zero custom code to execute. In a Splunk SOAR environment, the platform reads the alert and initiates a highly complex, multi-branching investigation. It simultaneously queries virus total, cross-references CrowdStrike telemetry, drops the suspicious file into a sandbox for analysis, and updates a legacy network firewall to block the sender's IP address. Splunk achieves a significantly deeper multi-vendor threat containment strategy. But orchestrating that specific chain of events demands a heavy initial engineering setup from your SOC team. Sentinel prioritizes speed and simplicity, optimizing the workflow for Microsoft-centric organizations. Splunk prioritizes exhaustive, highly customized investigation across disjointed enterprise tools. Software platforms do not solve security problems on their own. Automation is only as effective as the engineering team running it and the legacy tools it has to connect with. If you're a small to mid-sized organization operating within Microsoft 365 and your SOC relies on standard analysts rather than software developers, choose Microsoft Sentinel. For these teams, Sentinel provides the fastest time to value. The low-code environment offers the lowest operational friction to get your initial playbooks running. If you're a large enterprise navigating a fractured multi-vendor environment and have the budget to employ dedicated automation engineers, you should choose Splunk SOAR. For massive organizations, Splunk provides the unmatched, customized orchestration power required to tame years of enterprise tech debt. From a career perspective, if you are just entering the cybersecurity field, focus your efforts on learning Microsoft Sentinel. Its accessibility and rapid market adoption make it an excellent starting point for building a resume in security automation. But if your goal is to build a highly lucrative career in advanced SOC engineering, the path is clear. Mastering Python and executing complex logic in Splunk SOAR remains the ultimate professional differentiator in the enterprise job market.